Well, welcome back, or welcome for the first time. We're on a life changing journey with Abraham, and this message actually changed my life. And I think it has the power to change yours as well. And I left off the last time making an observation that Abraham was not declared righteous until about 10 years after he was walking with the Lord. And I asked the question, what the heck was that all about? And this is the first time that anyone was declared righteous. So this passage has to have great significance. And also, Abraham is called your father and not the begetting type. That designation belongs to God the Father alone. No, Abraham is your father as it relates to the process he went through and the process you go through to become what God imagined you to be. The starting point's the same, really the end point is the same, and the walk by faith to get there is the same. But one thing for sure, being declared righteous many years after you trust in God has to mess with your theology. I thought I was declared righteous when I put my faith in Jesus. Well, the best thing God can do at times is to mess with your theology. So what happened here in Genesis 15? Abraham was minding his own business, and God appeared to him in a vision and said, Abraham, I got your back, and I am all you need. In fact, I am your reward, Abraham. And Abraham's immediate response was, wow, God, thank you. No, it wasn't. Abraham basically told God that God was wrong. God, you told me something about my life, and what you said has not happened, so I don't believe it. I don't believe you. God spoke to provoke Abraham here and to create in him some honesty to get something out in the open. Abraham, like most of us, was walking around aware of what he was not. But being the good Christian he was, Abraham kept that bottled up in himself until this moment. God exposed Abraham's lack of faith, and not his faith in God's existence or even the personal intimate aspect of God's reality. Abraham was solid in that. What he did not believe is who God told him he was. Because at least 3 times prior to this, Abraham was told by God who he was, who God created him to be. Abraham, you are a prolific father. Yet Abraham had no children. So here, again, God helped Abraham to get this out in the open where it needed to be. No reason to hide that from God anyway, but we sure do. And here's the rub for all of us. As Christians, we believe in God and what he did for us on the cross, but we don't believe who we are. The beloved sons and daughters of God with a destiny angels desire. And if we're not walking in the general reality of believing that we're the beloved, how can we even begin to believe the specifics that God has spoken over our life? Righteousness walks on 2 feet. Yes, we are declared righteous when we believe in God, but if we just do that, we're just trying to walk on 1 foot. The first foot is to believe who God is and what he's done. But the second is to believe who you are. Abraham was trying to walk on 1 foot that night under the stars. And for the first time, he came to believe what God said about him. This is what your seed will be. For you and I, we sing at church, I am a child of God. We sense faith. I do. We feel God saying yes, and we're saying yes. But then Monday comes. Well, Monday also came for Abraham. For what begins in faith must go through the hope process. That sense of who Abraham was did not become a physical reality for decades. But during this time, Abraham, who was declared right, came to know that he was right, regardless of circumstances. Simply put, being right is what righteousness means. I know I'm right. I know who I am, regardless of my situation. And you will know that you are right in a godly way when you aren't defending yourself or stressing. In the face of his own inability to make it happen, and with the circumstances against him, Sarah was barren, Abraham hoped against hope and grew in faith in order to become what he already was. And this opens up some delicious and scary thoughts for you. If you are Abraham's children, who are you? How did Abraham understand who he was, and how do you? God whispers his destiny into the hearts of every person who has come to be. So how do we know what that is? And again, what is the process? And that's why we need to look at Abraham. I'm going to look generally at the process next time before I unpack how God reveals these things to your heart. It reveals the you he imagined. And the process is found in the New Testament's account of Abraham's life, where this phrase, accounted to him for righteousness, is repeated. One time in Galatians 3, one time in Romans 4, and one time in James 2. Each point to a different time in Abraham's life, and the three stages God brings all of Abraham's children through. And as you realize this, the blinders come off, and you're going to be able to see yourself in a different way, see your life in a different way, and you'll start becoming what God has called you to be. So until next time.